Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Donald Francis, and welcome to It's Life Podcast, where we're helping people develop self-control to make better decisions. Listen, today we have a special presentation. I went through Hudson Yards today, which is where I work, and I took some footage of the vessel, took some footage of the shops, the vessel, and the shed, took some footage of the apple that people sit in, and sometimes they converse there and just chill out, right? I took also some footage of the water fountain, which is one of our main features there as well. But I did that, well, that's where I started off anyway, right? And then for some reason, after I finished with all of that, I tried to get to the express bus because I wanted to get down to the office. But yo, listen, upon getting to the express bus, I had to push through the crowd. You know, walking through New York City is a hustle and it's a bustle. You know, you got people pushing you, you got people elbowing you, people hitting you with the bags. You got to cross the street. You got to walk past different places. It get extra tight. You know, you get some footage, some room, and then all of a sudden, right after that, you got people that are cluttering you right after that, you know. But finally, we got to, you know, the express bus. We got on the express bus, and finally, we got to Brooklyn, you know. Listen, it's a hustle and it's a bustle. And so the reason why I had to tell you that is because I want you to meet my new friend and my good friend. His name is Nico. He happened to be a boxer, and I wanted to interview him tonight, and I wanted you to come in and just hear what it is that he have to say. He's a boxer, he's a trainer, you know, he's a mentor, he's an entrepreneur, but more so, he's a passionate dude. And even though we had to get through the crowd, I want you to know that every now and again, you have to develop self-control to get through people, because you'll get tight. You have your new sneakers, somebody step on that, somebody poking you and all this other stuff. And that's what we want to highlight tonight. What is it to have self-control? And who better to ask but my boy Nico, who's a boxer? You have to have self-control, self-discipline, and more so self-awareness. And that's something I wanted for you, you know, to be able to highlight, you know, and I wanted you to learn tonight. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Donald Francis, and welcome to It's Life Podcast, where we're helping people develop self-control to make better decisions. Listen, I'm with my boy Nico. You know, he is an inspiration to a lot. He have a wonderful story that he is about to, you know, explain to us and share with us. And the only thing I want you to do is turn off everything that you can. I want you to just lean in, you know, be in a secluded place where you're not interrupted. Put the kids away, turn the TV off, turn your phone off. And I want you to glean from his story. He is a unique being. I haven't known him that long, but it felt like I've known him all of my life. And you'll understand why I said that, because once you hear from him, you're going to feel the same exact way. So listen, let's not hold him. He's right backstage, y'all. And without further ado, I introduce to some and present to others none other than my boy, Nico. Yo, what's going on, bro?
Hey, how's it going, man? How's it going?
I'm good, my dude. I'm good. First of all, let me just say I thank you for taking the time out, you know, out of your busy schedule, you know, out of your time of, you know, practicing and stuff like that, just to come and sit with us here at It's Life and share value with our community. And you know, bro, we talked, you know, and we've seen each other for, you know, few moments now, you know, and it was a connection right then and there for me when I saw you, because I knew that you had something special that you were holding. And then when I found out that you were in boxing, I was like, wow. Then we came up with this topic, you know, developing self-control, you know, and I was like, who better to talk to except my boy Nico. So what's up, my guy? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, you know. How about you? How you feeling?
Yo, bro, I cannot complain. Had a wonderful day, and I was waiting for this moment all day. And I'm gonna tell you, bro, just for some clarity, like today, I didn't start off so great, you know, because I got up a little later than usual, because obviously, you know, I was up editing. Sometimes that's my plight, you know. But upon that, after sending all of the emails off to let people know I'm running behind, bro, you would never guess what took place with me. You know, so I get on the train, you know, because I was actually coming from Brooklyn. Get on the train, and there's this woman. I got a nice new suit on because I knew that we were going to have this kind of a special event for some of the department in our you know, at our job. And I'm sitting there and I says, okay, I got a nice little suit on because I want to look presentable. There's a lady that's holding a cup of coffee, but she has her lid that's sort of like loose. I don't know that. She really don't know that. But she's talking and she's moving her hand as she's talking to her friend. Now, let me ask you a question. Who moved their hand while holding coffee, knowing it's going to spill?
That's crazy,
So
especially
that,
on the train.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And bro, and I'm saying to myself, it's crowded on the train. I can't move any place. I'm at the door. And as soon as I thought to myself, Nico, if this woman spilled coffee, and by the time I can finish the sentence in my mind, coffee was all over my suit. Coffee was all over the lady who was wearing cream. Coffee was also all over the dog of the lady that was standing in front of me with the dog
Wow.
in her bag, you know? Bro, it was so crazy, man. So I had to now get up. I was at this time I was in Manhattan at West 4th Street. We pull in. I get off at West 4th Street, go back, the other way just to come back and change my suit. Then I decided, you know what? Let me just take a cab. That'll just, loosen the nerves at least.
Yeah.
Bro, I get in the cab and now we're in traffic for almost another hour.
Oh man.
But I knew, bro, that all of that was a setup because of how my day was going to end. So that's how my day went, bro. Thank you for asking. So, but it
So
was good,
so
man. 'Cause after the rooftop and now talking to you, bro, man, I'm good, man. So, bro, look, let's get right into it, bro. I'm gonna tell you, man. First of all, I know, what I'm saying, you've been into boxing. You chose boxing, and obviously, our community is going to hear you get into that. But tell me, bro, Nico is the name. Tell us,
yeah.
how did you come up with that particular name, bro?
My grandma, man. Ever since I was
Ah,
a little baby, she started
right.
calling me Nico. And it
Ah,
became a family thing, and it just stuck on me.
God bless grandma. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Everybody loved grandma, and even the parents are like, yeah, we appreciate grandma after she spoiled our kids, and then we got to come back to them. But it's a good thing, thank God for grandma. And so, bro, so where you from?
I'm from Staten Island, New York, born and
All right.
raised.
Bars. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Okay. No doubt. And so I'm gonna tell you, so if you're born and raised, you've been out there all your life then.
Pretty much lifelong Staten Islander.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I'm
know?
gonna tell you, it's a beautiful thing because when you live in New York, and you think about the five boroughs, Staten Island is its own entity and unique, I must add, because I have some of my best friends out there. And when I go to Staten Island, it almost makes me feel like I'm leaving New York. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that a lot. I get that a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, man. So I'm glad about that. So listen, bro. So you're into boxing. You're a boxer. You're a trainer. You've been training other people, rather kids of all ages. We watch.
Now, I wouldn't
You.
consider myself exactly a boxer per se.
Okay.
It's like I'm on a path to becoming a boxer. I
Okay.
would categorize myself more as a boxing enthusiast.
Ah, a boxing
That's a better
enthusiast.
title, yes.
That's wonderful. I love that title.
I never wanna get what you call imposter syndrome because I actually know real boxers, and
Hmm.
I feel like I have a little ways to go to label myself as a boxer, but I am aspiring to be a boxer
That's wonderful, bro. That's wonderful.
and working towards it, getting close.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you, we'll leave his information in the description. But bro, at the mere fact that you would choose, being an enthusiast, of boxing, it's amazing because again, we want to know, how did you get to this particular point in your life to say, I choose to want to do, this field, being a boxing enthusiast, what allowed for you to choose boxing, and how did that start for you?
I just gravitated towards it. So it all began when I was on a vacation with my wife. It was during the pandemic. It was about 6 months into the pandemic. We were finally able to fly out. We flew out to Puerto Rico. We had a nice little vacation. You know how it goes, the
Yeah,
beach, the whole nine.
absolutely.
So, I'm in my bathing suit, we taking pictures. I go back to the hotel room, we're looking at the pictures we took for the day, and I'm looking at myself and I'm like, wow, I gained a lot of weight. Like I wasn't happy with how I looked.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was so like ashamed in a way that the rest of the vacation, I'm just plotting in my head.
Hmm.
I need to get back in shape.
So let me ask you if and how did you look to yourself? What was it? A weight thing? Was it a skin thing? What was it like? What
It was
was
a
it?
weight thing. I felt
Okay.
fat. I just felt
Okay.
fat.
Wow. And
Yeah,
so if you don't mind me asking at that time, what was your weight at the time
I
that
went up
caused you to say?
two hundred
Mhm.
forty pounds,
Wow.
240.
Okay. 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 And before that, when she took the picture and you took a look at the picture, you said, "Wow, I'm getting big." But what were you before that then?
Before I felt like I was getting big, I used to walk around like usually 215,
Okay. Okay.
220 the most.
Right. What's your height, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 6'1".
Okay. Okay.
One.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. And so you looked at the pictures and you're like, "Psst, this is not what it is." What's up?
It had to go. I couldn't do it no more.
Mm,
The rest of the vacation, I'm trying to enjoy myself, but in the back of my mind, thinking once I get back to New York,
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna change all of this, make a big
Got you.
turnaround.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But basically, I get back to New York. I start going to this gym in the city. It's called TMPL. They got a bunch of locations all over Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
So I mainly went there just to do some weightlifting, calisthenics, but I noticed they had a punching bag. It was just like one heavy bag there in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Maybe I could use this as a form of cardio. So I
Okay.
bought myself a pair of boxing gloves and I had no idea what I was doing. I just would just go down there and just go crazy and just throw a bunch of wild punches.
Mm-hmm.
And basically that's what got me interested in the sport of boxing.
Okay, okay. Let me ask you a question. You being 240 at that particular time, and because of the fact that we are, talking about the topic self-control, um, was there a point while being 240 that caused you rather emotionally, mentally, spiritually, intellectually to be out of control, that caused you to say, listen, I'm angry, was it because again, sometimes when we retain weight and stuff like that, sometimes it could work on us. I'm sure that you could agree with that. Was how did you feel at that particular moment to get you to the point to say, I'm going to the gym?
Well, I felt disappointed in myself because I've always been athletic lifelong, basketball,
Right.
football, the whole
Absolutely.
nine. I always stood in somewhat shape. So for me to get to that point, it was absurd to me. I was like, nah, this is unacceptable.
Hmm.
I was more like, setting a standard for myself. I had to check myself real quick.
Yeah.
And I've always had that competitive attitude. So I
Okay.
just looked at something to conquer, something I
Right.
was going to do,
Yeah.
something I had to do.
Hmm. 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 That's awesome, man. Wow. And I tell you, I always oftentimes in um our podcast, we always talk about how reasons come before results, and part of what's in the compartment of reasons is who was I once before I got to the point of me making a decision of becoming better. You feel what I'm saying? And then who is it that I'm not? But when we take a look at that first point there, I'm oftentimes now thinking about that because of what you just said, which is, listen, you became, you know, however you felt being 240 at that particular time, and that caused you to say, I'm going to go to the gym. You had good enough reasons enough to bring about the results, and the results is something that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But yeah, man. So this is what caused you to choose being an enthusiast, of boxing and stuff like that. To say, listen, I just need to, lose the weight. Was it just the weight as well, or was it other things alongside of that?
It was everything. It was. I'm kind of like skipping through parts of the story.
Oh yeah,
So
no, it's fine, man. Yeah, I get it.
it all it all really began during the pandemic.
Okay,
So during
talk
the
to us.
pandemic, I was cooped in my apartment with my wife for about I say like 5 months straight.
Wow, yeah, man.
And that's what led to me gaining all that weight. I was eating very unhealthy. Every day it was like heavy dessert. I was drinking.
Hmm.
I was just eating like it didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I was eating good. Don't get me wrong, but it just it added up in the long run.
Right.
And so what really like led me to boxing, like to start training in boxing, yeah, it was because I started going to that gym. I
Hmm.
was very like intrigued by punching the bag.
Right.
So being home, like being home during the pandemic, like the gyms were closed. So it's like
Mm,
I was no longer able to go to the gym, punch that bag, lift
yeah.
weights.
Yeah.
So I had a old piece of furniture. It was a couch, a futon couch.
Okay.
I
Okay.
was gonna throw it out to clear up some space in the apartment. And I started to look at it, and it looked like a punching bag to me. I don't know why. I visualized what I could turn it into. So
Yes.
I broke down the foundation of the couch. I flattened it up straight. It stands about like six, probably like 6 foot 3 inches tall, which is perfect for me.
Mhm.
And I put it up against my wall. And since it has springs in it already, when you punch it, it just bounces back. It doesn't make much noise, so I didn't like have to worry about annoying my neighbors with bangs. It was
Right.
perfect. So I started using that, and I mean I was stuck home all day, so it was just like routine for me. I would wake up, have breakfast, and go at it for about 2 hours just every day.
Yeah.
And that led me to wanting to do more. I would start going on long bike rides. There was times I did like 30, 40 mile trips.
Wow.
I did a trip
Wow.
around Manhattan once, the whole
Wow.
island. I started off from lower Manhattan. I rode up the West Side Trail, circled around Dykeman,
Wow.
crossed all the way to the east side, and then came back down and made a full circle around Manhattan. And it was a great
Sweet.
experience. I got to see like all different neighborhoods. At that particular day, I did that long trip.
Yeah.
It was Malcolm X Day, and I was riding back
Wow.
through Harlem, and I rode through the parade.
Oh, wow.
It was nice. It was
That's
nice.
that's great, man. Wow. That you listen, y'all. If y'all getting value already, do me a favor, just smash the like button, give us some hearts if you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, leave a comment, And I'm gonna tell you, bro, it's a wonderful thing to feel to have something to get you motivated, to do something beyond measure, and to exceed your own expectation, and like we said, reasons come before results, and your reasons is enough, I also heard this guy's name is Peter Vogue. He says, or Peter Vogue, he says, if your reasons don't get you up early in the morning, you don't have strong enough reasons. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get up at a specific time, but to just get up and just work, toward the result that you're looking for, man, and have nobody stop you under no circumstances are strong reasons enough to say, listen, I'm not going back to 240 at all. Let me ask you, did wifey ever say anything to you about, yo, hey, you getting kind of big, or was
Never,
it
never.
just the
You know,
pictures?
she was always happy with me. It was a
Of
me thing.
course.
It was I had a
Yeah.
problem with it.
Okay. Right.
I had to do something about it. It's just I'm not used to that because before the pandemic, I was always going to the gym regularly.
Right.
Always weightlifting, always staying in shape. I used to just
Yeah.
punch the bag around. But at that time, I didn't know about boxing till the pandemics. You see, so
Right.
then once the pandemic happened, I started indulging more. I started studying tape, studying boxing more. Like I've been a lifelong fan of boxing ever since I
Okay.
was a little boy. I remember sitting there with my dad and watching the Mike Tyson fights,
Mm,
watching I seen Ray Leonard fight as a kid, like Oscar
mhm.
De La Hoya in
Yeah.
his prime,
Yeah.
Tito Trinidad. The list
Absolutely.
goes on. I've been there since day one, and I've always was interested in boxing, but my mother, she wasn't having it. Like she always thought it was too dangerous.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like that was out of the question. And I never thought I would ever like get involved at like this point in my life. Like sorry about that. So
It's all right. Yeah.
basically So during the pandemic, so now I'm training at home. I made this freaking punching bag. I
Right.
start taking these long bike rides. I'm going
Okay.
to the beach, training at the beach. Like
Yeah.
it was something spiritual too. I don't know how to
Hmm.
explain it, man.
It's fine.
I
Make
used
it
to do
plain.
crazy. I used to do crazy trips, like where I would do a 3 hour bike ride, then work out for 2 hours. I didn't
Right.
stop. I was so motivated. So then
Wow. Wow.
city starts opening back up now.
Okay.
Now the gyms are opening up, and I'm like, well, now I need to get in a real boxing gym. I need to
Hmm.
get some better perspective, and I want to learn more.
Hmm.
So the first gym I've ever attended was a gym called Work Train Fight. It's located in Lower Manhattan. I
Hmm.
used to just go in there and just self train. I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
I would just start watching others and,
Okay.
just doing whatever I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And eventually I started indulging in different gyms.
Okay.
The second
Okay.
gym I went to where I started to get a little more serious, it's a gym in Staten Island, but they're based out of Brooklyn. Their main gym
Yeah.
is in Brooklyn. They're called Sweatbox Brooklyn.
Right.
This gym is more serious now. Like, so when I,
Hmm.
I noticed the vibe was different in this gym, like there's nothing but
Right.
fighters in there. They're fighting at amateur level, maybe some
Yeah.
of them were pro. And I was very intrigued. Like this was an environment for me. I just
Yeah.
needed to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I started training hard,
Okay.
ramping it up to the point where I thought I knew something. I thought like, all right, now I'm getting the hang of this. Wrong. I'll tell you why I was wrong. So
Right.
there was a posting at the gym. It was spar day. All
Yeah.
all all people all members of the gym are welcome
Yeah.
to try out and spar. So
Yeah.
the main coach of the gym came. A bunch of different fighters came there, and most of these guys they had somewhat experience. They used to do sparring competition. Me, I
Right.
never sparred a day in my life.
Wow.
Here I am, thinking I'm gonna do good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm sitting there waiting to get called, and while I'm sitting there watching the fights before me, it's pretty brutal. These guys like they were scrapping. One dude he got knocked out of the ring.
Oh,
The other dude
wow.
got battered up. I'm like, oh
Right.
man, this is
Wow.
real. But whatever. Despite all that, I was excited. So now I get in the ring. I got in the ring with a young man. He must have been 20, 21, no younger than that.
Right.
But he was in competition.
Got you.
So he had training, coaching. I had no type of training. So anyway,
Right.
bell rings. First round, we're just feeling each other out. He's
Right.
not engaging with me too much. He's just
Okay.
studying my movement.
Right.
So towards the end of the round, he starts to engage with me and he just rocks me real bad. So
Wow.
the round's over. I'm dazed still. I'm like, wow, this is the first time I ever got hit like this.
Right. Right. Now stop there for one quick second, real quick, before you go further. You know, um, now before that moment, right, and before even getting to the gyms and stuff like that, or getting into the gym and getting into like the realness of the atmosphere and feeling what the real time is. How did you feel about boxing? Um, generally, while because we always have that fantasizing stage, we always have that dream stage, that passion, um of wanting to do what it is that you want to pursue according to whatever your endeavor is, and your endeavor obviously is boxing. And because let me just say this, getting into video, getting into podcasting, I told you about my story. It's not about me, but buying my first piece of gear was great. Buying a lavalier mic was good. Buying an LED light was good. But then, and also, sort of figuring things out with content. I'll get up there and just start talking about basically nothing, and engaging about just trying to feel my way through to see what it feel like. Because number one, it's funny talking to a machine when you don't have any person there. You know what I'm saying? It's funny just talking to, and it's just you. Nobody else is watching. Nobody's your boss. Nobody's forcing you, But then after getting the hang of it, just feeling it out a little bit, understanding now the flow of YouTube, podcasting, rather it's a skit making and stuff like that. I realized that there was sometimes that I was supposed to do certain things. I didn't feel like doing it the day that I decided to do it. If it was every Thursday, fine. But why I don't feel that same I have the passion, but I feel tired. Like I just don't want to do it right now, because I got a taste of what the real feel is. You got what I'm saying? And it's like it's a hustle, it's a grind. And so now, how did you feel, sir, when you thought about that fantasizing moment about boxing? I remember we had talked prior to this, and you've given an illustration that was so powerful and impactful, which was, it struck an emotion in you, right? When you first sort of kind of saw this moment, or obtain this moment. Take us to that particular place. Like before we get back to the boxing ring, you know, how did it make you feel about the desire of wanting to fight or be a boxer?
It's always been in me. I've always wanted it. I just never pursued it. And that's my biggest regret. So that's my
Yeah,
biggest regret in life
got
is
you.
not pursuing boxing when I was a young man. Because had I pursued it as a young man, God knows what it would have led me to, right?
Hmm.
So now my intentions for training was never to compete, but it was always in me. As I discussed before, as a little child, I was
Hmm.
always watching the fights. Always,
Yeah,
even as a young boy, like when there's
yeah.
nobody was around, I would turn on HBO boxing, Showtime
Mhm.
boxing, just by
Right,
myself watching the fight. And there's no kids that were really doing that, man, unless they were
right,
part of like a boxing family or their parents had them competing. Like I was just
right,
always a fan of that sport.
right,
But for
right.
me, boxing is like it's like it's moving to me. It's like the opera. It's like poetry,
Mhm.
like I zone out when I watch meaningful fights. And there was
Wow.
times where, the fight was so good and so intense where like I was just like
Yeah.
teary-eyed, like because my
Wow.
my fighter, he gave it his all and
Yeah,
he won finally, he got all the belts. Like I know
yeah,
all that hard work that it takes. Like
yeah.
the casuals that they just watch from the outside, they think,
Totally.
they're just like athletes, but there's a lot of groundwork, a lot of hard days. You're taking a lot of
Yeah,
punches and you're not getting paid. You're underpaid most of your career. And most people don't even make it, and they
yeah,
have nothing to show for it. So
yeah,
it's a real dog eat dog, dirty
yeah,
business
yeah, yeah.
because
Eh,
it could be great, and if you have no good management or promotion, you'll just get taken advantage of, and I've
yeah.
seen it time and time again.
Right, right. I hear you. And yo, man, this is good. This is so good, bro. And thanks for even that value. And again, like you had made mention about the opera and and poetry, and to see somebody, put the grind in and then watch them at the end wear the belt and or belts. You know what I'm saying? And so to be able to take the journey with somebody and then sort of see yourself in it to say, I feel like that, even though I'm not there yet, but I feel this in my soul that this is something I'm supposed to do. And now having known all of that particular portion, now go back to the ring now. He knocks you out, you
He
know.
doesn't knock me out.
Okay, don't knock you out. Okay,
He
so
dazed me at the
he
bell.
dazed you.
I made it back to my corner. There's some trainer in my corner. He's like trying to talk to me. He's like, yo, you're a big guy, man. He's like, you should be walking him down. What's wrong with you, man? And I'm just trying to get myself together. This dude's in the other corner bouncing, getting ready to come back. I'm like, oh man, here we go. Ding ding. So now so now I get in there. I go on the attack. I'm trying to
Okay,
throw jabs, crosses. I'm not
yeah,
touching this kid. His footwork, he just keeps moving out of the way.
yeah,
And he's like,
yeah.
"All right, are you done?" Mink, 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 mink. Called me a
Oh
few
my
times.
God.
Now I'm
Wow.
like on my feet. I'm just moving around. I'm in survival mode. He's just picking his shots.
Right, right, right.
Boom, next round. I make it back to my corner. It was a three round
Fight.
sparring
Okay.
match.
Okay.
Now round three's here. I'm like, all right, man, I just gotta make it to the end. It is
Right.
what it is.
Right.
And I'm just on my bicycle. He's trying to walk me down. It got ugly a few moments. He had me on the
Wow.
ropes. He caught me with a
Mm.
nice clean left hook. That
Wow.
really dazed me, but I refused to go down. And the bell
Wow.
rang. I gave him respect.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as I reflect off of that, I just got myself cleaned up a little bit. I was a little
Yeah.
bloody nose, bloody mouth, but I had the
Wow.
biggest smile on my face. There's so much
Wow.
adrenaline running through me. To me, it was like a lesson. It was it was a lesson that I needed. I told the dude, I was like, "Oh, thank you." I was like, "I needed this. This is my first
Right.
time sparring." There's a few people, they're like, "You should never been in there. You could have
Yeah.
got hurt. Like, you didn't have proper training." And I was
Right.
like, "Yeah, I know, but I just needed to get that experience." And I'm glad that my first experience was with an actual experienced fighter.
Right. Right.
So
Wow.
that activated me. Like, always in competition,
Yes.
you want to
Yes.
compete with somebody who's much better than you. It's sort
Absolutely.
of like you got like two siblings, right? One
Yeah.
sibling, he's like 4 years old, and then he's
Yeah.
got like a 1 year old little brother. That little brother is just trying to walk it fast and do everything. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
that concept with me when it comes to
It's
competition.
That's good. That's good. That's good. They always say if you ever want to be a millionaire, hang around billionaires. They get you
Yeah,
there faster, you know? And
absolutely.
yeah, man, this is awesome, bro. And then I'm gonna tell you, and then fighting or sparring, like you said, you wasn't in it for competition. Um, can you specifically, give us a particular word that you were actually in it for? If it wasn't just for competing, was it
I was
more
being
of so?
gravitated towards it. So I'll
o-
tell you one thing. I started training, getting more into it. I was
Uh-huh.
like, I can't wait till we have a this and I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
teach him everything.
Wow.
And if I think you got time
Wow.
for a second. All right, I think we're back.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Okay.
now
Okay.
I would tell her I was confused. I think we're back
Uh,
now. It's frozen.
I can see you. I can see you clear, you know.
Okay. All right. So
Okay.
let
There
me
you
get
go.
back to what I was saying. So
Uh-huh.
I said I can't wait to have a son
Mhm.
because everything I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna teach him at a young age and I'm gonna coach him. And if
Yeah.
he likes it, I'm gonna try to turn him into a champion one day.
Right. Right.
And as
Right.
time goes on, my wife is like, maybe it's you who wants to fight and you just don't want to
Mm.
admit it. And I
Mm.
started to think to myself, like, oh, she's right. Because I just keep
Right.
training to compete, thinking about competition, but it was all in my head.
Yeah.
So that's
Wow.
what led me to start getting more serious and get into
Right.
sparring.
Right.
So eventually after that ass whooping I took, I
Okay.
decided to link up with an actual coach. This
Yeah.
gentleman, he has a lot of experience. He used to compete when he was younger, and he is currently training fighters as we speak. So
Okay.
I did like a mini fight camp with him. I trained with him for about 2 months,
Okay.
and he taught me a lot of fundamentals about footwork and how to throw proper punches.
Right.
He took me to spar a couple times. My first sparring match, I did really good. I say I got the best out of that match.
Okay.
And we had another match with another gentleman who is getting ready for competition.
Mhm.
Um, that one didn't go so well for me. It wasn't more like he got the best of me. I
Okay.
was so exhausted that day because I was
Mm.
training hard nonstop. It was a late
Oh.
spar session. I was working all day. I got out the office late and I went straight to this gym. And this gym is like in a basement. It's a sweat box in there.
Wow.
I went in there and I was already sweating. I wasn't even doing that. Um, it was just an exhausting sparring match. We were holding
Right.
each other a lot of body punches.
Yeah.
And that was really good for me too, because that taught
Okay.
me to get my conditioning up, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So I did that little mini fight camp with this gentleman, and that led me to really want to get into competition.
Wow. Wow. Um, you know, obviously, when it come down to sparring, when it come down to boxing, it have a lot to do with hitting and receiving.
Yes. Try
Um,
not to receive.
right, right, absolutely, or bobbing and weaving, right? And again, going back to your illustration about the couch, that you've turned into, your sparring, or your punching bag. And matter of fact, we're going to obviously show some of that in the B-roll and stuff like that, or what it looked like. But or was it anything, you know, in your life that caused you to say, you know what? If I'm stressed, I need to release this on this. If I'm going to release, if I'm going to get through and or, come through anything, if I'm going to make it in life, I can't hold things. And so did you have any of those particular, situations going on
Absolutely.
emotionally,
Absolutely.
cuz
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So boxing, it helped me with a lot of things. Prior, I used to struggle from anxiety,
Oh,
mainly
okay.
because like I work in a high place environment.
Right.
So it's a lot of politicking nonstop. I
Mm,
deal with like 100 people in a day sometimes. A lot of meetings, a lot of conversations, phone threads. It's just
yeah.
craziness. It's
Hmm.
madness plus the madness commute in the city every day. Me coming from Staten Island
Tell me about it. Yeah.
into the city, it's no picnic. Taking that boat, there's like hundreds of people packed in there, and then you got to get on the train,
Yes.
and now
Yes.
I'm going into a high paced work environment. So when I would get home, I would get anxiety attacks. And I learned
Mm,
why. The reason why is because my mind is on go, 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 go the whole day.
got you.
And when I
Got you.
get home and I finally sit down, like my mind is still scrambling, and that's what was causing the panic attacks. So
Wow.
I needed a way to suppress that. That's what got me into fitness. Fitness was
Wow.
really helping, but boxing, just punching something, it
Mhm.
just releases those endorphins, man. And I don't get anxiety attacks anymore.
That's
So
good,
thanks for
man.
boxing. Hey, maybe the cure is, boxing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Listen, y'all, if y'all getting value, off of his story, off of Nico's story, please do me a favor, leave a comment. Let us know exactly how you feel. And I'm gonna tell you something, bro. You're giving us value today, about developing self-control because all of those things will have to cause you to develop a type of self-control to deal with people, because every day we're dealing with people on our jobs, like you said, the hustle and bustle through New York City, taking, trains and stuff like that will give people anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
So again, we have to find something that will allow for us to, release all of the negative energy, so that we can sort of refill on some nice positive energy and replace it. You feel what I'm saying? Um, and again, go back to reasons. Your reasons have to be strong enough to get the results that you've been looking for. Bro, let me tell you something, bro. I know that you are definitely, you have a great future. It doesn't stop here for you no matter, where you are right now. It doesn't stop because now, how much do you weigh being that you have went from 240 to what now?
So in my prime,
Yeah.
which was 2 months ago,
Okay.
I was down to 165 from 240 pounds.
Wow. Wow.
Currently, I'm walking around at 182.
Wow. Okay.
Currently,
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
competing right now. I'm getting prepared. I'm getting training. I'll get into that. I have a new coach now.
Okay,
But
okay,
so it's good to walk around like that. If I'm gonna cut down to 165, that's not necessary unless I'm getting close to a fight day.
right,
This
right.
is a healthy walking weight for me. 182, that's perfect. I feel
That's good.
great. I'm
You're
in
six
shape.
one, yeah. Yep, absolutely. And you're 6'1", so that's a great, look and stuff like that. And let me say, so now, obviously to come from 240 to go down to 160, obviously, you're gonna gain and then lose. You're gonna gain, you're gonna lose. But what did you do besides just punching the bag to be able to get down to that? How was your diet and stuff like that? And how did you develop the self control, you know, to be able to fulfill it?
I ate whatever the hell I want, man. That's one thing. I ain't changed nothing about my diet. The work rate was so high. I was
Okay.
going on like 2, 3 hour bike rides every day. I was training and boxing for 2 hours. I
Okay.
would come home and take a hot salt bath every day to
Mm,
sweat out more.
all
I
right.
was wearing sauna suits,
Okay.
heavy gear. I would wear a
Right.
heavy backpack,
Yeah.
uh, just to provoke more sweat and more conditioning.
Right.
I did a lot
Right.
of jogging, a lot of calisthenics, a lot
Yeah.
of pull-ups,
Yeah.
just
Wow.
everything, man. Just mix it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's called muscle confusion, just testing your body. It's all in the mind. When you
Yeah.
feel like you're gonna break down, it's all in your mind. You just gotta keep pushing. As long as you stay hydrated, you're good
Yeah.
to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, let me ask you this, because again, yo, man, I could try to keep you all night. And but we're gonna have to definitely, bro, have a part two,
Yeah.
to this interview, because, bro, there's so much more, that I want our community to learn about you. And but before we sort of like land the plane a little bit, I want to ask you, and I think you already tapped into this answer, but even if you have to give me the answer again, that's fine. Just for clarity, what was, in the midst of all of this, your biggest failure, and how did that set you up for the success? Now, before you answer that, let me just say, among any of the interviews that we do, have, I always talk about that your success is not people making it to the top. Success is the journey, on the way to the top. And so if nobody have a journey, then they don't have any success. So how did, what was your biggest failure, and how did that, set you up for success today?
My biggest failure in terms of training.
In terms of training, in terms of, you know um because again, obviously, we don't want to count a failure, not winning the spar, right? Because you never sparred before, with a professional trainer or professional boxer, but on the way of trying to develop, all of what is that you wanted to do, was there any particular type of thing that you felt that you tried to pursue in the midst of that and didn't succeed the way you wanted to, and counted that to be a failure? But
Well, I,
mhm,
I get what you're saying now.
okay,
So to jump right into it, the first thing I did after that sparring match was get a coach. So
okay,
when I reflect, my biggest failure was not embracing training. There was training offered to me. I went to a couple boxing gyms, and there'll be trainers in there. Why don't you take a class? If you're interested, and I would just brush them off. Like I
right,
thought I knew it all.
yes,
It must be, I don't know what it is. It's stubbornness or something.
right,
I
right,
just
right,
thought I knew how to fight.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, that was my biggest failure. Not getting proper training, because had I done so at the time, I would have been a
hmm
little ahead of the plan right now.
absolutely, absolutely. And so now, how did that, set you up for the success journey you are on now? What do you know better now, beside the fact that, well, look, I get training, but then anything else? How did
So
what else did
I
you?
I dealt with my first coach.
Okay,
It was a mini fight camp. We were preparing for a competition. There just was not enough time.
okay,
So we kind of put a hold on that.
right,
And I was a little discouraged because I was really looking forward to it, but I wanted to move forward. So it
right,
was like meant to be. So there's this gym, it's a boxing gym. It opens up a few blocks away from the office I work at.
okay,
I'm like,
okay,
wow, I just found out about it. It wasn't even open yet.
right,
But I one day during lunch, I just walked by. I see there's people inside, like they're punching them together. I knock
right,
on the window. The
yeah,
owner lets me in. We have a conversation, and he's like, "Hey, listen, we're not open. But why don't you just start coming around? Just
wow,
start training."
wow,
And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure." I was in there the next day. I'm training, and he's just watching me for a few days, just seeing my habits, seeing what I do wrong, obviously. So
right,
then he started giving me tips. We started doing a lot of one-on-one sessions,
okay,
and I basically told him what I wanted. I told him I want to compete. This is something I have to do. I can't get rid of this feeling. So right now we're on path
Mm-hmm.
In June, I'm gonna do 2 developmental fights.
Wow.
Right after those developmental fights, he's gonna start getting me into amateur competitions.
Wow.
The facility
Excellent.
that I train out of is called Victory Boxing NYC. It's
Okay.
located on 37th Street and I think Knife Avenue,
Okay.
Hell's
Okay.
Kitchen. It's a brand new boxing gym. It's one of New York City's premier boxing gyms. He
Yeah.
has a 22-foot boxing ring in there. Then he has another 19-foot ring in the back.
Right.
He's got about 30 punching bags. He's got water bags, double end bags.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
It's a
Wow.
really nice gym. A lot of fighters are starting to go there. They haven't even been open that long, and there's been a few pros who have
Mhm.
stopped in there. I actually got to train alongside. She's a female world champion. Her
Mhm.
name is Sensei Estrada. She's a
Wow.
two division world champion. She's undefeated.
Mm.
I walked in there, she was training, she came, introduced herself, and
Mhm.
it was just great to be in the presence of a world champion.
Wow. Wow. And see, your journey success now have brought you from, the beginning stages of, experiencing what it is to be in a real ring with a real, professional fighter
In a real
into,
boxing gym
you
with a real boxing coach. So the
yeah.
background of my coach, he's been in the business 30 plus years.
Wow.
His
Wow.
family's been in the business. They have gyms all over the city before this new facility. So the first gym they've had, which is a famous gym in the city, it was called the Gramercy Boxing Gym.
Okay.
They also have the Trinity Boxing Gym.
Hmm.
And now my coach branched off and he has Victory Boxing NYC. And they've trained many professionals. They've been in the business a long time. So it's such a
Wow.
pleasure to just be around these people in this environment. This is exactly where I need to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell me, give me two names that have been most influential, during your upbringing into this particular point in your life.
I got to say, Jon Snow
Okay.
and a gentleman who I've never met before. He's a professional boxer, Terrence
Mm.
Bud Crawford.
Mm. Wow.
I'm leaving one more person out, another boxer who I've
Okay.
never met before. I'm a huge fan of, Tyson Fury. The
Wow.
reason why he's so inspirational is because he became a heavyweight world champion. He was on the top of his career
Yeah.
and he struggled from depression and he started doing
Mhm.
heavy drugs.
Wow.
He got counted out. He had to vacate all his belts. He went on a hiatus. He gained, I think he was like 370 pounds. It was
Wow.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And this man, he just snaps out of it. It's like a moment like I had in a way, but nothing compared to him, obviously, where he said, "Enough's enough. I
Right.
want it all back." And he got in
Mhm.
shape and he went straight for the world champion, Deontay Wilder, who was undefeated and murdering everything moving. And
Wow.
he beat the guy, and took his belts.
Wow, man. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome, man. Let me tell you, you become who you respect. You feel what I'm saying? To some degree, you become the people that you respect and the people that are influential in your life. And if you had any advice for anybody that's walking in your shoes, that are much younger than us now, what would that be?
Go hard. Go
Hmm.
hard. Don't waste no time. Learn the proper fundamentals of boxing.
Hmm.
Get training. Don't be ashamed to get training. It's only gonna make you more fundamentally sound and keep you safe in the ring.
Yeah.
Ever since I've got training, I've done a lot of mock spars and just movement, and I'm very elusive now, defensively sound. I don't get hit. I'm good on my
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. I can't
Yeah.
wait to start competing because
Yeah.
I'm gonna have that killer mentality.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
the times I've been training and sparring with folks, like I've been working on things that I want to work on.
Yeah.
'Cause I,
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, I'm not gonna go all out on this person because
Right.
I'm gonna save that for who I compete with.
Yeah.
So when it's
Yeah.
time for competition, there's no there's no option for me to lose. That's how I feel. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it all, leave it all in the ring. That's how
Yeah,
it's gonna
man.
be until I finally, calm down and just go back to originally my end goal is just
Yeah.
to become a trainer, to train
That's
others in boxing. So
yeah.
along the road of my training, I left out something big. I've
Hmm.
trained so many people along the way. As I'm learning, I'm training other people who are inexperienced, other people who just want to lose some weight. I'm implementing boxing for them. I'm like, yo, look what this did for me. It could be the same for you. And
Absolutely.
I met a lot of good friends, made a lot of good clients. The
Yeah.
weather's getting nice now, so in the midst of me training, getting ready for fighting, I took on 2 clients already. I'm going to be
Good.
training these people 3 times a week.
Wow.
Busy
Wow.
schedule. I'm gonna
Yeah,
try to
man.
take on maybe 1 or 2 more people, and that's it.
That's good. I feel you. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. The good thing about, man, what we appreciate about you is not only are you developing wealth and success, but you're also sharing it with others because that's just the kind of heart that you have.
It's a
And
great feeling.
it's a
It's a
great feeling.
great feeling.
It's,
Like it brings me so much joy to just help others
yeah.
because it's something I love. You see, like
Yes. Yes.
I have a pretty decent job, right?
Yeah.
But it's an office job. It's a job that I don't
Yeah.
see myself doing for the rest of my
Gotcha.
life because it
Yes.
doesn't bring me joy. Sure,
Good.
thank God I'm grateful for this job.
Yes.
It's not a bad gig.
Right. Right.
But when I'm training other people and I'm in that boxing ring, like
Yeah.
I don't want to leave that boxing gym. My
Absolutely.
end goal is like, yo, I'm gonna open up a boxing gym one day and I'm gonna be in here freaking 16 hours a day because that's what I
Yes.
want to do. That's what I
Yes.
love to do. I'll never
Yeah.
feel like I'm working if I do that.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. Prior times I had different episodes that we've been doing in the podcast, and I was telling people that we're leaning toward, opening up our own business, so that we can do something that we love every single day without it feeling, just as you said, like a job. Because when you have the passion, you have the fire and the desire to do it. No matter how many times you do it, like I said, in the beginning of our talk, that this is a grind, bro. And sometimes you might not feel like, doing certain things because, oh man, well, I'm a little sleepy, I'm a little tired because the day went this way, the day went that way. But even in the midst of that, there's a fire, there is a desire, there is a purpose that just will not die to say, look, there's a battery that won't ever turn off. You got what I'm
I'll tell
saying?
you how crazy it gets, Donald. There's been a few times during training where I had a hiccup where I had a fractured left pinky once. So you know what I did?
Wow.
I
What's
was
up? What you did?
training southpaw and just using my southpaw jabs and trying not to use that left hand. You know what I'm saying? Like I would
Still
just
going. Still
compromise.
going.
I pulled a muscle in my ribs once, so it hurt every time. Like I threw certain punches, so I
Wow.
would just jump rope or do
Yeah.
something. Like nothing's gonna
Yeah.
stop me, man.
That's crazy. No, nothing's gonna stop you. But look, Neeks, man, Nico, yo, let me tell you something, bro. I so appreciate you, man. And obviously, the secret got out that I was a pastor and stuff like that. And when I thought about you, bro, I thought about this scripture, you know, uh, and it talked about how I exercise myself daily so that I will never be a castaway. And what that scripture simply meant is that I'm always gonna stay on top of my game, keeping myself disciplined, keep myself, eating right, focusing so that I won't be someone who's just like beating the actual air, but I'm actually defeating my opponent. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes,
So, yo, bro, let me tell you something. I so appreciate you, bro. Much gratitude in this atmosphere of, just to say thank you for taking the time out. This is just
my
part one,
pleasure,
ladies and
man.
gentlemen,
Yes,
but I'm going to be with him in person and we're going to go to the actual gym. We're going to see the stuff that he does. He's going to give me a lesson. We're going to have a good time. I mean, it's going to be so much fun. So, look, I want y'all to stay tuned. We got to unfortunately land a plane tonight, so that we can do the stuff that we have to take care of by airing this. And I'm going to tell you, bro, I just want to say again, thank you, bro, for sharing your story,
it's been my
and,
pleasure.
and before we go, let us know where we can find you on social media.
So my social media is box
Mhm.
underscore with
Mhm.
underscore Nico.
Got you.
Again, that's box underscore with underscore Nico. I know it's a little complicated, but it just like looks cool. So
We'll put it on the description. No worry, we'll put it on the description, and we'll make sure that it's seen on the screen as he said at the same time too. And now you can that is that on Instagram? Is that on
that is on
YouTube?
Instagram. Correct. Correct.
Got you. So you can find Nico on Instagram, yo. Go and follow him on his page. Get value. Watch what he do. I promise you, there's something that he's showing other people that you could learn. And even if you're not into boxing, whatever you want to endeavor, everybody needs self control. Everybody needs self awareness, and everyone needs self discipline.
Yes.
And so Nico, man, thank you, bro. Look, we're gonna definitely have you back, and I appreciate you, bro. And is there anybody you want to shout out, while you're on before we end the plane?
Shout out to Victory Boxing NYC. Make sure you check it out, man. There's
Yeah.
no place like it, man.
Yeah.
If you're interested in boxing, check out Victory Boxing NYC and come see Coach Jon Snow.
That's what I'm talking about. Yo, hang tough for a second, man. I want to say thank you again. And let me tell you something, y'all. Nico is the truth, man. And I'm going to tell you, and I hope that you've gotten value. We're going to see him even more. We're going to see him in person. We're going to see the stuff that he do. Look, in order for you to get what you have to get, of course, everybody should have faith. Everybody should have some type of belief. But let me tell you another thing. Faith and works, they work hand in hand. You can't have faith without having works about what it is that you want to do. You can't have work without having faith toward the thing you want to endeavor, So if you show me works, I'll show you works by my faith. You feel what I'm saying? In other words, by my belief, and by my vision. So listen, y'all, if you gotten value, don't forget, check us out even on next week. Same place, same time, same content, sometimes different people. And don't forget, this your boy Donald Francis. And don't forget also, Rob Bill and Robin is going to be back. We're just establishing our new location, our new content, our new presentation. And I think that you are going to love it this up and coming month, So thank you. We're developing, we're helping people develop self-control just to make better decisions. And with that, we're over and we are out. God bless.